Michael Guzik with Lawson Fisher Associates, and I am your current ACEC Indiana president. I want to welcome you this morning to our new, and for some of you, recent members, ACEC Indiana orientation meeting. I want to thank you for taking time out and joining us this morning. The intent of this meeting is to make you better aware of the full range of ACEC Indiana membership benefits. I want you also to learn a little bit more about our organization and structure and to better understand our community of firms, our strategic purpose, and our values. Next up, next slide. Oh, thank you. First, let me introduce our staff. Beth Bauer serves as our executive director. Colleen serves as our Deputy Executive Director. Shelby serves as our Director of Membership Engagement. And Liz serves as our Director of Workforce Development. You'll meet each here today virtually if you haven't already, as each will have a portion of today's presentation. Staff will typically be your first point of contact with questions about ACEC Indiana and signing up for events and maximizing the value of your membership. Beyond their daily duties and responsibilities, it's also important for me to highlight that they also each support committee chairs, committee members, and numerous recurring events and activities that we put on each year. They are an integral part of our daily operation and the success of our member organization. It's their work and dedication that helps make ACEC Indiana the leader member organization that it is. I also want to get you better acquainted with our board leadership. Again, I'm Mike Guzik, and I'm also joined here today with Kurt Heidenreich. He serves as ACEC Indiana's Vice President and Treasurer. He also serves as the ACEC National Director. Dave Leahy serves as our Secretary, and he also serves as our alternate National Director. Please feel free to introduce yourself to either one of these gentlemen or myself directly if you run across us at one of the numerous events that we host. Hopefully you recognize a face or two on this list. This year, our board has taken on a new initiative to serve as a liaison or an ambassador to better acquaint you to ACEC Indiana and introduce new member firms to what we do on a regular basis. This outreach is set up on a regular cadence, set up on a quarterly basis, and it's to highlight some of our industry events, invitations, highlight opportunities for annual involvement, and also keep you read in on what's going on in our industry. We want this to strengthen your engagement with ACEC Indiana. And if you haven't heard from one of our board liaisons, let us know and we'll try to follow up on that directly. So what are you a member of? First, let me cover ACEC National. It was established in 1905 by 8 engineers to promote the business interests and contribute to the nation's growth. It's now a federation of 51 state and regional councils, including Indiana. It also includes more than 6,000 member firms nationwide. It represents engineers, architects, land surveyors, scientists, and other specialists within our industry. Our member firms range in size from a single registered professional engineer to corporations with thousands of registered professionals. ACEC Indiana was established in 1959 and was founded as a section of ISPE, Indiana Society of Professional Engineers. It was formerly called Consulting Engineers of Indiana, CEI. You might have heard of this if you have a long-standing firm. ACEC Indiana represents over 100 engineering firms. We also have 35 associate members, which represents over 500 principals and owners and nearly 4,000 employees. It's governed by a board of directors and 4 full-time staff members that I previously introduced. Our commitment. ACEC represents the business of consulting engineering here in the state. There is a set standard of shared values and commitments that we all embrace. subscribing to the highest standards of technical performance and professional practice. We also want to encourage and recognize professional and technical achievement, and being recognized as the advocate for the consulting engineering industry, related design professions, and construction and supply industries, and also even those in public service. Our strategic plan was updated and adopted by the board of directors in 2022. The core 4 pillars is to expand the value proposition of ACEC Indiana. This includes advocacy, business resources and education, leadership development, and workforce development. ACEC Indiana is the legislative advocate for promotion and protection of the business interests of our member firms. We also serve as a primary resource on business practices to our member engineering firms. Some of you might have received a membership survey. We are right now at the midway point of our strategic plan, and some of you may have even participated in this. This outreach was to check to see how we are doing as an organization. Again, ACEC Indiana's mission is to be the collective voice of Indiana consulting industry community. At this time, I'm going to transition the presentation over to Kurt Heinreich, and he'll go into detail on some of these strategic objectives. Kurt?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. Forgot my mute. ACEC is organized around our pillars of the strategic plan, as Mike said. The beauty of this is that they're color-coded for any of you like me that have trouble trying to figure out how they all fit. It's a great tool. The committee brings the strategic plan to life, and there are 12 committees, standing committees. 6 of them are internal and 6 are liaison committees that are more client-facing. Member firms should consider serving on both an internal and a liaison committee. The internal committees offer a strong opportunity to or for emerging professionals and leadership development, while the liaison committees rely upon professional experience with clients and how the engineering firm relates to these different agencies. I would say the liaison committees are more popular because you get to connect with the clients, but serving on internal committees can give you an opportunity to get acquainted with the staff and other board members that make decisions on who gets to be on these different committees. So this chart is an outline of the committee chairs in their firms, the ones that each chair or each committee has a chair that is represented by a firm, and then it also has a board liaison and then a staff liaison. The board liaison brings back any of the things that happen in the committees that need board direction or board voting, for instance. Committees have regular meetings like 4 to 6 times a year. That depends on what their objective is. There's a committee handout on the website that gives more guidance on the appropriate number of meeting times that each of these committees have, if you're interested in those. So with regard to these committees, these give a great opportunity for member firms to get involved. It's important to note, though, that the committee assignment is granted to the company because companies are the members of ACEC Indiana. And then that person serves in that role in place of the company. So if you leave that company, then another person would replace you from that firm. It has to be an Indiana-based employee, and there's only 1 employee per firm per committee. Indiana ACEC receives a lot of requests for these committees, and there's only so many that can fit on. So again, getting the opportunity to serve on some of these committees and showing your volunteerism is a great idea. So what's expected of you if you do volunteer? Well, first and foremost is that you attend every meeting. And if you can't attend a meeting, things happen, you get that. Then you need to send a proxy that is informed on what is going on and is available to participate actively. And before you send that person, you need to notify the chair and the liaison, staff liaison ahead of time so that they know what's happening. Volunteers should actively participate and engage in the discussions when they're at the meetings. And it's really important that you step up and take minutes or volunteer on a subcommittee or invite others to attend related events that the committee may put on. You should be working toward the committee's goals every year when they start, and it starts in July or June, and that's on the next slide. But you're going to be, the group's first assignment is to develop what the committee's goals are. So you really need to help to achieve that and or offer new objectives if it's appropriate. So like I said, it begins in July and it goes through June. That is what our fiscal year is for ACEC Indiana, and it follows that. If you get assigned one of these committees, then it's a 3-year assignment. And every year you'll get a PDH at the end of that year as a credit for attending it. Every April is when your primary contact would submit who they would like to have on certain committees. And then those will get sifted through to find out, to make sure we have the right distribution of people and the right people for each of the groups. So there is a pathway to leadership if you're interested in being one of these committees, and it's on the website, but some of this will be covered in greater detail later on in this presentation. So we'll pass that off to Beth.
Thank you, Kurt. I think that we've talked a little bit about the strategic plan and the committees. And if you recall, in the strategic plan, advocacy is one of the pillars. And it's really a primary pillar because it probably makes sense to you, but it's hard for an individual firm to affect a change either in law or in regulation. So it's easier for ACEC to act as your collective voice to get those changes accomplished that are good for the whole consulting engineering industry. We talked a little bit about the committees themselves and how they are really the hub of the activity. That's really where the work is accomplished. So let's take a few minutes and talk about the Government Affairs Committee. This is one that really helps us form an opinion about what types of policy to pursue that's good for the industry or issues that we should fight that are bad for the industry. The Government Affairs Committee is one that meets on a regular basis. Right now they're meeting during the legislative session, and they are a wide and diverse mix of member firms representing all different kinds of disciplines, different sizes of firms, and different parts of the state. So we get a very good collective view of what's important. As a whole, we work on a variety of issues that have an impact on your member firm and on your profession, including professional registration and licensing. That's very important. Business issues, including issues such as contract terms like indemnification and the duty to defend a client. All kinds of funding and tax and local government issues, as many of you work with local government clients, but there is also involvement of the private sector clients. Transportation, both state and local. Water and environment, which is a very broad category of things involving water resources and all the infrastructure related to our healthy environment. And then energy, utilities, MEP, and structural, a number of issues under that umbrella. This group also works with us as staff and our lobbyists to monitor what's going on when the legislative session is not in session. There's a lot of work that occurs to get concepts into shape that could become legislation that we pursue. So we're typically involved with a handful of legislative study committees each year, and they're very important. Let's move on. There's many ways for you to be involved that don't take a lot of time when it comes to the advocacy arena. During the year, we send out alerts for you to act upon, whether it's something that's happening at the federal level congressionally, such as the R&D tax credit issue or the federal budget issues, as well as at the state level, such as during legislative session. If there's a bill that we think is good or bad, and we're hoping that you as a constituent can help get the outcome that we seek. So that doesn't take a lot of time, and it's very easy for you to be involved and make a difference. You can also attend our annual legislative luncheon, and we do this in January. It's got probably about 125 members that come. These are your peer leaders that attend, that get an update from legislative leadership on what are the big issues that are happening that year in the General Assembly. It's a great networking opportunity and a great way to stay up to date on the key issues that have an impact on your firm. And then finally, we have two political action committees, one at the state level and one at the federal, and you can be involved with those. At the state level, that PAC is limited strictly to legislative candidates. We try to identify those that we think have a lot of influence on the issues that we share, that we have a common interest in, and we know that those candidates need some financial support to win their elections, and so we focus on just those legislative candidates. And then at the federal level, we have a PAC that just supports congressional candidates. And again, we identify those within Indiana that we have a shared interest, that support our issues and our causes. And then we provide some support to them and give you an opportunity to be a part of these if you're a constituent or you have a close relationship or a business relationship. So we would look forward to including you in those activities when you are ready. Now I'll turn it over to Shelby.
Yes, thanks, Beth. So I will be talking about the second pillar of ACEC Indiana strategic plan, which is business resources and education. So we engage employees of various roles and disciplines at the member firms to share best practices and issues of commonality regarding the business of engineering. We also offer a plethora of networking opportunities throughout the year for members to build strong relationships within the industries. The legislative luncheon was a good opportunity. There was networking at the front end and the back end. That's a whole group of 120 plus peers. So we encourage you to come to our ACEC Indiana events where we really try to build in that networking time whenever we see fit. And then we also deliver meaningful continuing education content for all ACEC Indiana members. So almost all of ACEC Indiana's events provide the opportunity to earn PDH credits for continuing education. We also have course approvals that you can submit. If you're hosting a lunch and learn, we can also provide that information on how you could get those courses approved. And then we also have required courses to renew your PE. So we have the ethics, we have the continuing education courses, and then a few other ones that could help meet those PDH requirements. It is renewal year, so we encourage you to check those out, and we'll put those in the chat. So as I mentioned, we have engagement opportunities for all members of your firm. So this is just a list that we have here for the programming that means to like all members of our association. So just to name a few, we have forums that we host sprinkled out throughout the year. So that focuses on HR, IT, finance, So anyone from your firm that may have an interest in those areas, we have those virtual forums available. New this year, we're partnering with PSMJ to host a project management bootcamp that will be in April. So you can check that out as well. We have a QR code if you want to just scan that. You can see the full list of offerings. Another one that we really are excited about, we host each year, is a scholarship golf outing. That's in July, so we encourage you to come out and golf or sponsor, whatever you'd like to do there. And then we have the Engineering Excellence Awards, which I'll point out is this April, so it's coming up. That's a really good networking opportunity. You can come out, meet. I think we have about 250 members and clients that come to that. So it's a really cool event that showcases the engineering award projects throughout the state. And we are recognizing 32 awards this year. And then next I will talk about, we really have 4 levels of career advancement for professional development. We have our emerging professionals, so that aims to target members of your firm who are 35 and under. We have our engineering leadership program, which recognizes the 8 to 13 plus years of experience in the profession. Our Pinnacle Leadership Program, this is content aimed for 13 years plus years of in the profession. And then we have our Principals and Owners Summits, which are exclusive to decision makers. We host one in the summer, which will be coming up this July, and then one in the winter. So this past year we were in Playa del Carmen, and then in 2025 we'll be in Key West. So check those out if you are a firm decision maker. Those will be promoted to membership soon. And then next up is our premier program, our flagship program, which is in its 20th year. This is our engineering leadership program. And it, like I mentioned, targets candidates which are 8 to 13 years of experience in the industry. It's in super high demand. It sells out each year. And we host 4 sessions, 2 back-to-back days from November to April. And the registration for this will come out in June and promoted to the full membership. So if you have anyone that meets these criteria of the program, please feel free to send me a name and we'll put them on the wait list, and they receive first notice before the full membership. So this list is usually the one that fills up pretty quickly. And it's maxed out at 26 participants for that program. And then we also have our Pinnacle Leadership Program, which aims to target the 13 plus years of experience. We host 6 sessions throughout the year, and this is really the next level of engineering leadership. So anyone who has graduated our engineering leadership program or equivalent program, also, you know, maybe a department or group leader aiming to really advance their and progress their continuing education for the principals and ownership level within their firm. So now I'll turn it over to Liz to talk about some workforce development issues.
Thanks, Shelby. Good morning, everyone. We have the 4th pillar, which is workforce development. And really excited to share a little bit about that work with you, especially what happened a couple weeks ago for National Engineers Week. So first, the segment first of this workforce development strategy is to partner more intentionally with K-12 schools and in general expand awareness and interest of opportunities within the engineering industry. We know that fixing all of our workforce challenges begins with K-12 schools, and that requires us to be a part of this solution and get in front of students more often and lead the charge in terms of outreach and what we want students to know about career exploration and just general awareness of the engineering industry. So we're being very intentional about the work that we do to engage students at STEM experiences. We're hosting special events with them. We just did a Girl Scout hands-on experience with over 30 girls came and did hands-on activities with ACEC volunteers, stuff like that, that gets students thinking about engineering concepts, in a very hands-on practical way. So really excited to be doing more of those types of activities in the future. One thing I do want to share a little bit more about is our efforts during National Engineers Week. We had terrific success. A couple weeks ago during E-Week, we had a great turnout in terms of our volunteer engagement. Over 150 ACEC and partner volunteers helped us with that week, engaging with classroom visits and other special events. We've estimated that over 6,000 students met an engineer that week. So whether it was a classroom presentation or we had a little career fair we engaged with at ACEC. We had the hands-on experience with the Girl Scouts. So between all those efforts, it was over 6,000 students met an engineer. We visited over 60 schools statewide. And I know for a fact that that classroom presentation number that well exceeds 185 at this point. I've been tracking extra over the past couple of days. So we were all over the state, big impact with our communities. And, we reached a lot in Marion County. We have a lot of concentrated engineers in Marion County, but it was a regional effort and a statewide effort. So we're really happy to see strong engagement there, and almost 60 of our firms sent a volunteer out into the community to present as well. So really happy to that. The second area of our workforce development strategy is to partner more intentionally with higher education institutions. That involves a lot of things, right? But we do this mostly through our higher education and workforce committee. But we know, of course, that we can't build a strong pipeline of talent that want to stay in Indiana. We can't retain that good talent that we're training if we don't make an intentional effort to partner with our universities and colleges. So that's a big endeavor for us right now, building those relationships with colleges and universities. We're engaging in discussions with them about the FE exam and the importance of students taking that prior to graduation or along with graduation. We're definitely focused on in-state recruitment and making sure that we are retaining top talent that we are teaching at our universities. Indiana is presently 14th in the nation at recruiting students to come to Indiana for education, but we are 40th at retaining that talent. So we know that that's a big issue and we're working to address it. And the last area I'll touch on is just the overall indirect recruiting and building a case for civil. And this is kind of the squishy part of recruiting and encouraging better workforce traction within our industry. So it's on us to make sure communities and state leaders and everything and advocates are aware of the needs of our industry. So that's kind of where this falls into place, that there's that advocacy component, right? That we are working with economic development and destination development and all those other agencies that are pivotal to just the awareness piece of the needs of our industry and how we can start to address them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Colleen.
Thanks, Liz. Good day, everyone. I'm just going to share some kind of wrap-up notes, as we have shared a lot of information with you in just about 30 minutes. So the first is we kind of gave you a little overview of the four pillars of our strategic plan. So again, we're kind of bringing that back. You can see advocacy, business resources and education, leadership development, and workforce development. And then up at the top of the screen, you will see kind of professional years experience. So your 0 to 5, your recent grads or EITs, 5 to 10 years professional experience, then going on the line 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and 30 plus. So what we hope this graphic demonstrates is that you can really plug in your firm's professionals in a lot of different areas and get them involved in ACEC right away. So starting at the top with advocacy, everyone at your firm, we would like to share our legislative video updates with. Beth mentioned, right now we're in the Indiana General Assembly session, and we send out weekly video updates to keep you apprised as to what bills are making their way through the legislature and how you can get involved with that work. Responding to the call to actions that, again, Beth mentioned. So that's something that we'll share out with you, template language to share with your legislator, to share your voice. And they can always educate colleagues and local officials on ACEC issues. Everyone at the firm is welcome to help get engaged and support the state and national PAC. And then kind of later on in your experience, once you have that perspective that you could really share with some of the legislators, you know, we'd invite you to attend PAC check meetings and have those discussions about ACEC's issues, both with state legislators and also with our congressional candidates. And then again, a little bit progressed even further, you know, 20+ years experience, you know, you could look to serve as one of our Indiana State PAC trustees. Moving into the business resources and education, again, you can see here, there's a lot of opportunities to get your employees engaged right away. So Shelby shared with you a lot of our great networking events, recognition awards program coming up in the spring. We have those forums for professionals at your firm that aren't even involved in engineering. So, you know, if you have a CFO, or if you have your IT department, certainly your human resources director, and those roles, we serve the full company, your full firm. So we have content for those individuals who are not even in the business of engineering, but they're in those supportive roles for your firm. So if you have individuals that would really like to engage in a network of other, you know, professional HR professionals at engineering firms that can really speak the same language, that's what those forums are for. The Indiana Transportation Team is ITT. If you are engaged in INDOT work, hopefully you've heard of that, but that entity works to collaborate with consultants, the contractors, and the INDOT employees themselves. And then we host a variety of different pop-up workshops throughout the year as needs arise. So we have a couple of workshops that we host with Indy DPW here in Indianapolis for RPR and for designers. And then we also just hosted last week, you know, education webinar for those who might be involved in water resources and might interface with IFA and SRF. We'll be hosting in April, co-hosting the PSMJ Project Management Bootcamp. So that is a 2-day boot camp for PMs, really intensive, 2 full days. That's a nationwide course, and we're hosting it in Indianapolis here in April. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And then, as we mentioned, you know, the internal committees and the liaison committees are a great way to get your staff engaged. You know, the internal committees are usually a little bit easier to get some of your younger employees involved in, to kind of work internally with some of ACEC's priorities and initiatives. And then those liaison committees that interface more with the clients are sometimes more appropriate for your employees who have that experience, you know, working with DNR, working with NDOT, DPW, et cetera, so that they can bring that expertise to the discussion. Then our third pillar, the leadership development, shall be covered as well. You know, so we have special offerings 3 times a year for emerging professionals, and those are individuals that are 35 and under. So those are just pop-up events. They can just register for those events and attend them on a event by event basis. The engineering leadership program, that was the, you know, 8 to 13 years minimum experience. That is an 8-day program. And so the class is together from November through April. So that is the course that is just open for 26 participants a year, but they really form a really good peer network, as well as get a lot of professional development and kind of the soft skills elements of the business of engineering. So they're not learning any technical skills. We understand that they would have that competency already. And so this is really, you know, equipping them and exposing them to the different elements that engineering business owners deal with, such as, you know, sales, presentation skills, working with different personality types on a team, and on through the gamut. Then that Pinnacle Leadership Series, where you must have at least 13+ years experience, that's really diving deeper into some of those topics that we discussed in the engineering leadership program. That group meets May through October, and that they meet for 6 days. And that class is open to just 20 participants to make that a really intimate, high-level discussions within that group. And then finally, the principals and owners summits. As we mentioned, we host that twice a year, once in the summer here in Indianapolis. And then in the winter time in January, we'll traditionally host, out of the state, sometimes out of the country. It's in a really warm weather location. And again, we kind of have those higher level discussions. So, we'll have our CPA advisors come in and give updates as far like the R&D tax credits or other really timely manners. We'll have our legal counsel come in and share any updates on indemnification, duty to defend, personnel law. And we'll have our insurance advisors come in and share a bunch of different updates as far as risk management, cybersecurity, and whatever's hot in that arena. And then finally, as Liz shared, the workforce development, that is a booming, growing area. It's our latest addition to our strategic plan. So there is a lot of work to be done, and we hope that you will help come alongside ACEC and participate in that. So of course, engaging in the National Engineers Week efforts, but it's not going to end there. We're looking to host classroom presentations throughout the year. So we'll be having signups for that coming out soon. Certainly the indirect recruiting through advocacy, kind of spreading the word about careers in engineering and opportunities available there. And then as you get a little more involved, you can look to attend campus school visits with department leadership. So Liz Walker is going out to all of the ABET accredited schools in Indiana and really making some strong introductions and deepening our relationships with those universities, and just finding out what are their needs. It's a two-way street. ACEC offers some scholarship opportunities, but then also, what are programs or curriculum assistance that they need from ACEC from industry. And then attending some conferences, events with educators. So we're trying to have a stronger presence, with Indiana K through 12 principals, with school counselors, guidance counselors, etc. So you can aid us in our efforts there. Certainly, we want you all to be insiders and in the know with ACEC and everything that's going on. So I think most of you on this call should already have a profile created on our website. So that gets you plugged into our regular e-communications. So you should see those coming out from Shelby Dunn every Monday. But you just want to keep your contact information up to date so that when we have new offerings like opportunities to make those classroom visits, et cetera, that you're kind of sharing with us details such as, maybe what county you reside in, just so that we can better connect you to the right opportunities to get involved in. So if you don't have a profile created, certainly drop your name in the chat and we'll make sure that we send you an invitation to do so. So we have several timely events coming up. We kind of shared some of these opportunities that you can register for and then engage in. So tomorrow is our Coffee with Colleagues. This is a quarterly virtual event that we host that is hosted in Zoom, and you're going to breakout rooms and we have an icebreaker with a personal topic that you get to share with individuals. And then we provide another icebreaker for more of a professional topic. So that's a really great free event. You can register for that online, still come and participate tomorrow morning and just get to meet a lot of different members from throughout the state, different firms, et cetera, different levels within their firm. That PSMJ boot camp that I mentioned is coming up in April in Indianapolis. We're going to host a private markets forum, which is virtual, on April 17th, and that will be in conjunction with ACEC Ohio. So we'll just be sharing some best practices and kind of industry updates across the state lines with our Ohio counterparts and members. Then April 25th, we have our Engineering Excellence Awards. That's that event that recognizes outstanding projects throughout the state. And we'll have about 250 individuals in the room there, a lot of clients. So it's a really good networking event. Then later in May, we'll have the National ACEC Convention. So ACEC National hosts 2 conventions a year, one in the springtime where we go out to DC, And there's continuing education, as well as we conduct a lot of Hill visits with our Indiana delegates on the Hill, so our senators and our congressmen. And then finally, at the end of the month, we'll have our other Coffee with Colleagues on May 29th. So again, just another opportunity to have a free networking event with other ACEC members. Down to the last couple notes. We just opened our annual salary and benefits survey yesterday. That's open to all ACEC members. Again, if you did not receive an invitation to that and you're the right person at your firm to get that, just drop your name in the chat and we'll make sure you get an invitation there. So it will come from this email address that we have shown on the screen. This is our outside consultant that conducts the annual salary and benefits survey. We cannot conduct that as ACEC staff ourselves. It has to be at arm's length, a third party. So this is the individual, this is the consultant that conducts that survey for us. 2024 is an update year, so it's not as in-depth, but it will be asking for various salary levels, and then we get into a lot of the benefits. So the insurance opportunities, as well as, you know, spot bonuses, if you get your PE, you know, what does your PTO time look like? So asking a lot of those intangible questions that can just help your firm kind of gauge where you are. And then for our participants in that survey, you will get the results for free in May of 2024 as a thank you for your time and responding to that survey. And then if you don't wish to participate, but you're still interested in the results of salary and benefits, you can purchase those online, and that will be available to non-participating members in June of 2024. And lastly, I invite Kurt to join me, as well, as he is a big proponent of our ACEC Insurance Trust. But you do see on the screen, as a member of ACEC, you're eligible to participate in any of these three trusts that can really provide some really good cost savings and certainly a lot of wellness benefits and other benefits to your member firm. So we have the Life Health Trust that has a lot of participation from our ACEC Indiana member firms. So that would just take care of your health insurance at your firm. And so we have a contact listed on there, and we can share that following this webinar as well. The Business Insurance Trust. So, you know, there's not a lot of firms that are really strong in professional liability and really knowing the ins and outs of your business and your projects and the risk involved there. So we have Walker Professional Insurance as our premier insurance agent, and Kristen Walker sits on our board. You saw her photo in the board photos. So that is another opportunity a lot of our members take advantage of, just because it is, you know, a very niche level of insurance that they provide. And so they're truly the experts on that, and they provide a lot of counsel and guidance for ACEC as well in the insurance matters. So we like to promote them. And then finally, the Retirement Trust. So for retirement insurance, again, at your firm, we have our contact there, Lydia Zabriskie. And Kurt, I don't know if you have anything else to add on the insurance.
Yeah, so thank you, Colleen. When you think about ACEC as a national group, as Mike said, you know, every state has representation in this group. So all of the engineering firms from all these states combined together, and they have collective buying power that's pretty large with when you get all those firms together. So they created these trusts. My firm has participated in the Life Health Trust for over 5 years now, and we check it every year against other ones. But it has been a great benefit for us to use United Healthcare. From the Business Insurance Trust, we use Kristen Walker Professional, and she shops to different ones. We currently aren't using the ACEC Trust for our business ones, but we do check them because they can frequently be one of the best values. Then from a retirement standpoint, their retirement trust combines all the buying power of all these engineering firms And they by far have, I mean, it's arguable that they have the lowest fees of any 401k product out there. And they have some offerings from an investment standpoint that greatly exceed what you can get in the marketplace for anything else, just due to the amount of money that is invested with all the collective firms. So I would I'd highly recommend that you at least check it out and see if it fits with what you're looking for. That's my spiel. So moving on, I believe Michael.
Thank you very much, Kurt. And also thank you to Beth, Colleen, Shelby, and Liz. We've covered a lot of ground today about ACEC Indiana and expect it's a lot to take in. Even so, I hope you have a better understanding of the range of benefits with your membership in ACEC Indiana. I'd also encourage you to ask questions as they reveal themselves with your board liaison during their outreach. Again, our intent is to be the primary resource and voice for the business of consulting engineering industry. So welcome to ACEC Indiana, our community of member firms, and our associate members. At this